I realize the ironic thing about this video is that I'm talking about relapsing as a hikikomori while simultaneously taking a walk outside, but I remember seeing a study that was done about Japanese hikikomoris that had said that if you are a hiki in Japan, it is likely that you leave about 16 times per month just so you can get basic necessities or just to simply decompress via taking a walk. Most of the time I tend to take walks at night, so in that sense, you know, there's nobody around, there's nothing to sort of deal with, and during those times it's very relaxing for me because up here in Maine, I can just simply take in the cold weather, I can just simply enjoy things as they are, and let my mind wander. You know, there's times when we get so cooped up in our own rooms that sometimes we just need a change of scenery in order to deal with whatever's going on in our minds, and I think it's very powerful just to spend a little bit of time in the cold and remind yourself that, yes, I do exist, and this is going to, you know, pass over time. But regardless, I've relapsed. I've gone back to my ways as a hikikomori. This is one of the first times I've gone outside in quite a while. During my time being here, I've only left for absolute emergencies. Anytime I've been asked to leave, I've said no. And so, primarily speaking, I've been completely isolated. And as a consequence of this, I found myself thinking more and more about just my general mental state and where things are going to go from here. Oh, fuck, that was loud. And during that time, I've kind of realized that I don't really want to not be a hikikomori. I would like to have some more interaction, but the way that I want to foster that interaction... Jesus fucking Christ, where are all these buses coming from? See, this is the worst thing about the outside, It's that all the buses are just coming around at once. It's terrible. It's not even cool. See, here's another one coming, isn't it? No. Nope. So many. There's so many fucking buses going on at once, and it's literally the worst thing, but either way, like, I've just been thinking about this, like, I don't really not want to be a hiki, because the normies that you would typically talk to, there's not really anything that they can offer me in terms of interaction that I can't just get from online friends if I go to a place where I can meet those online friends in person. Like, being alone and being isolated doesn't really bother me that much. Like, I tend to fare pretty well mentally just on my own, and it takes a little bit of time to get things back together in terms of the depression and everything, just because stuff in life happens. But when things are relatively peaceful, I tend to be able to cope and continue living on even with everything that's going on. And there is an immense strength that I've found in simply continuing. And I've been able to find things that distract me from the feeling. And I've evaluated, you know, what makes me more happy, going back to school and just interacting with boring people who I don't care about, staying in my own room, and doing the things that I do care about. And I've realized that I'm depressed either way. It's just that when I'm doing the things that I do care about within the confines of my own room, I'm actually less depressed. And what I need to do is to get, you know, the proper amount of sunlight and vitamin D, but those things can be gotten in your own room. Have a UV light, have vitamin D supplements, and you'll be fine. You can get exercise within your own room, and eventually, in terms of interacting with people, you can get those face-to-face physical interactions from meeting your online friends in person. It's something I plan to do, but even now, like, VCs, voice chats. Those have been enough for me. If I just keep going from VC to VC to VC and just constantly having people talking to avoid the depression, it's just always be going to voice chats. Just always have tons and tons of voice chats available. It helps. It helps with the loneliness. And for right now, it's all I really need until I can get to a point where my online friends are people who I talk to in person. And that can be done. And let me tell you, it's not as if I just seek to be away from the norms forever. No. At a point, I do want to be able to just interact with normal people on a day-to-day basis, but that point is not right now, because I know long-term thinking this way will not pan out well. Human beings are social animals. They need to have people within their lives. They need to have things to keep them feeling like they are a good element in their community. Humans are communal creatures at their heart. Like, we talk about all these logical things about how human beings, they're bad and they think wrong and chemicals in your brain and all these different things. But at the end of the day, those chemicals are what's going to decide how you feel. And so we can talk all day about logic, but those emotions, they play the fiddle. And if you are not feeling like you are giving to your community in some way, if you're not feeling like you're useful or loved by the people around you, it's going to have its effect on your mental state. And I believe that is a very bad thing at points. And depression can show that. Hikikomori can show that. And so I found myself being a valued member of the internet community. And that has given me a great amount of solace, but at times it's not enough. And I know at a certain point I need to substantiate that need with physical interaction. But I'm not willing to just yet, because the problem itself has not gotten severe enough. Not in this sense, at least. A lot of my depression comes from external factors. Parents, lifestyle changes, drama with friends, but the core basis behind much of my depression has never really been that lack of people within my life, because as I grew up, I never really had that. Didn't bother me back then, it doesn't bother me so greatly now, but I know at a certain point, human beings, their humanity is going to catch up to them, and there's going to be a breaking point. And when that time comes, I'm going to be absolutely ready to leave hikikomori and to leave the comfy lifestyle to go to something that's more rich for my fucking brain chemicals and what they need. But for the time being, I am happy. I am content with the neat lifestyle. I am content with simply withdrawing myself. And in that time of being withdrawn, I would like to learn as much as I possibly can about being able to have charisma, about being able to function well within society, and to have the education and the understanding of social structures and of mathematics and of all of these things that will get you ahead in the job market or just with other people. And those are things that you can learn in isolation, from going on the internet and just looking at things and just finding as much as you possibly can to research and to study. If you do that every single day over the course of 5 years, eventually you're going to have accrued enough knowledge to head into college. After you head into college and you get your degree ready, you can go and get a job and you can talk to the norms all day and, get those dopamine receptors going and everything. Start a family and, eventually have enough money to get your own farm or whatever and live a nice, free lifestyle and, fuck a lot or whatever. Whatever human wants. Purpose with children. So, after giving this the thought, I've realized that I'm not ready to necessarily let go of hikikomori, because there's a lot here that I do enjoy, and there's a lot about not being hikikomori that I don't enjoy. that I feel that if I were to leave this lifestyle at this point, I'd be giving up on a lot of positive factors that I don't want to give up on, and I'd be leaving at a time in which I feel that I'm not ready to leave. I would much rather leave when I've studied enough, when I've accrued enough knowledge, and when I've felt that I cannot get any more positive things out of living this way. When that time comes, it's time to, put my ticket in and say goodbye to all of my hiki brethren. But for this time, I'm okay with this. I think I've realized that, and that's why I've relapsed, is that I've realized that the day-to-day interactions with norms of simple, meandering, small talk isn't really something I want at this time, isn't really something that fulfills me. People going on and on about their boring lives all day isn't really something that interests me. Going outside consistently isn't really something I need to do when there's so much more interesting things in my room. And, yeah. This fucking shut-in over here, I'm okay. I'm okay with this for now, but I know eventually at a point I won't be. And when that time comes, I know exactly what to do. I would like to eventually leave the lifestyle maybe at like 22 or 23 or something like that. When I've really gotten everything that I can get out of it in terms of just improving my own art and skills and all of that. And then head off to school, and then after, 6 years of doing that or whatever, be able to go to Vietnam, work on my citizenship there, work on teaching there, and then, once I've finished up everything there, head off to Bhutan and just teach there for a while until I can start my own family, and then after I get tired of grading papers and teaching the same fucking thing for the next 10 years, start up a nice farm with some money saved to have some extra things and just be out there with the wife and kids. I think that would be a nice way to end off my life. Just have a comfy forest in Bhutan that lays upon me every time I awake. Just be able to go out there and think about the fact that I am with people who care about me and that I am a service in my community. No internet. Bhutan has, dial-up. I wouldn't be able to go on the internet every day to check Twitter, to just be bombarded with all of these differing perspectives slamming against each other, trying to start the next civil war. I wouldn't be able to head on Discord and talk down the next suicidal person. Not to say that I don't care about these people, but I feel that every single day, the more you look at all of this negativity and all of these people just being sad all the time and all of these differing perspectives that alternate from your own individual tribe, eventually it wears on your mental state. And I believe that if I were to just stay in a comfy community of 100 people, I would be able to eventually develop connections with those 100 people far more than being just everywhere on the internet and feeling disassociated from everyone and feeling disassociated from all my emotions. So I believe that eventually leaving the internet, after I can get everything I can from it, will be nice. Because I want to make art on here and I want to talk about my life. But eventually after I've learned all my skills, after I've talked about all the stories, there's not going to be much left. And when that time comes, I believe it's time to take this channel out to pasture and do what needs to be done. Because I'm not going to artificially extend the life of this thing if I have nothing to say. That's never been what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to take this channel and make it something that is my own, that is unrestricted by what others want and by what the algorithm tells me to do. That's not what we're here for. We're here to be genuine. We're here to tell the truth. And part of doing that is to end this thing when I get old enough. Everything comes to an end. That's something we just have to accept. Would you rather end it while it's good, or let it live on to see itself rotting away into something it was never meant to be? So, this stage in my life is nothing but a stage, but it is a stage that will eventually run its course without rotting itself away to the point of never having anything good. I know there will be a time when I have to leave, when staying here will only make things worse. When that time comes, I won't be out here calling myself a hikikomori. I'll be out here calling myself a student.